So this is just a really quick video that's just a dead simple thing that anyone who's kind of working with painted pine can do to get a better painting finish overall. So a thing that I see lots of people doing, you know, like obviously when people are starting out with woodworking, they're generally using softwood because it's, you know, get it for being cured, it's cheap and it's easy. But you'll tend to find it's very knotty, and if you're painting, you're going to get a lot of imperfections in your painted finish from where the knots are, so you're ending up doing a fair bit of filling. You know, this is not dead knots that are going to drop out, but just small pin knots. They'll tend to always have little cracks around them and stuff that need filling to get a decent painted finish. And something you can do that will make that easier to do and easier to obtain a higher quality finish is when you've finished making whatever you're making. So these are some window shutters I've got here. These are going into a house and putting some sash windows, and these are made out of softwood with some MDF panels. I'll make them, I'll give them a rough sand, trim them to size, I'll take the arises off, you know, soften any edges, bits like that. But what I won't do is give them the final perfect finish sand and fill. Then what I'll do is I'll take them in a spray booth and blast them over with a coat of primer. Obviously, if you haven't got a spray booth, which most people at home won't have, you can just paint them, just prime them. And you know, these being primed white. And what you'll find is once you've got a coat of primer on, spotting these little imperfections will be an awful lot easier than when you're looking at a piece of timber with all the undulations and ripples of having grain, you know, and all of that kind of patination on it. It makes it very difficult to pick out small imperfections. So I'll give them a coat of primer first. Once I've given them a coat of primer, I'll then do my filling. And the other thing I do, I'm sure if you can see this on it, I've always filled a contrasting colour. So these are primed white, and they're being filled in a kind of dark brownish coloured filler. This is like a 2-part epoxy type filler. And if you've got filler that's the same colour, you can just add a little dollop of stain into it, and that works fine, just to make a colour. All you're trying to do is get a contrasting colour, so when you're then sanding that filler back, it's very easy to spot where you sanded back properly, where you haven't sanded back properly, and it also makes the filler really prominent, makes it really easy. The chances of missing bits and then having to go back and do it again because you missed it and you cocked up and then you've got to do it a second time is massively reduced. And I think any time that you're painting a knotty timber, you know, something which is going to have imperfections and that you're going to have to fill to get a nice surface finish, that's just a real simple thing you can do which will give you a better quality finish overall. Rough sand, get a coat of primer on it, let it dry, then do your final filling, and you know, you look at your sort of surface prep ready for your next coat. You know, you're going to have to denib between the primer coats anyway, so you're not adding any extra steps in, you're just shifting the order you're doing them in, and that should hopefully give you a better finish overall. But yeah, just like a quick tip. We'll try and get some short videos out, so that's something that, you know, anyone can do. If you're working with softwood, you'll get a better painted finish that way. Cheers.